Well, what is it? Well, now it's happening to me now. It's happening for me now. And when I say that, ever since I resigned in October, I've had a lot of alone time and a lot of one-on-one time trying to meet the little girl Staci inside. A lot of self-reflection, and it has been tough. She is a hot mess. We have had like some serious battles. And with that being said, it's like I know stuff. I can tell you what designer that is, I can tell you, but I didn't know myself. I didn't know myself. So getting to know her and falling in love with her has been one of the greatest gifts. And now I can honestly say, I'm ready.
Yeah.
I'm ready. And my biggest cheerleader is my husband. And at 2018, the end of 2018, he lost both his parents. So my cheerleader was silenced. He was silenced. And it was like, okay, Stace, you have to support him, but also pull up what you know you have inside. And it has been so powerful. Even though, you know, the pain and the grieving of death, a new life is coming forward. And it's time. And it's time. And his voice is back. He's on me about doing it. That Leo. I don't know any Leos in here. Y'all get on my nerves. Don't mention anything, because there's a plan to execute 5 minutes later. But I'm so grateful for that. And I'm grateful for my children, because I'm always pushing them. But now it's time for mommy to show you what she was born to do.
That's right.
I want to speak on two things. When you mentioned, reminds me of a meme that I just recently shared that came to me, and it said, you know, be mindful when your spirit stirs up someone else's demon. And
that's it.
It's like she saw your light and couldn't process it because she's in that cool crowd, and it's like, wait a second, you need to settle that down, because that's affecting. You know, as opposed to saying, you know, as opposed to getting into your light and embracing you, that it was like, and it's, we have to be so mindful of how powerful that is, that one thing. And she never probably, if you mentioned it to her, she'd probably say, I don't even know what you're talking about, and mean it genuinely. Something that she wasn't even thinking twice about becomes your anvil, that you're like, it's albatross, and she's like, told me to shut my mouth. You know what I mean? And she's not thinking twice about that. And we're so, you know, vulnerable to that, to that power of word. You know, and she didn't use her word to uplift or even to in any way that was beneficial to you. It was to literally shut you down. And it worked for a while. What you're mentioning is, what I find interesting is that there's no lost time, and to recognize that, that you've been simmering. You know, it's almost ready. You know, and now you're ready because you're here, and other things are coming to you, because you could have come and left and not even mentioned it. But you're like, you know what? I want to ask you about something that I've been sitting on, and now it's rising to the surface, and you're being held accountable by the village to follow through on your vision, you know what I mean, and with the tools to do so, to dust off that idea and take it up. Wait a second, this might be time for this. So that's really exciting. What a blessing of what you're doing.
Absolutely.
For me, I have not shared a lot of some of the stuff that's going on with me, but one of the my mom is so precious to me, and she was stricken with major bipolar disorder, and so I've been a caregiver for a lot of my life. I've been the adult for a lot of my life, something like that. So I've had to overcome that and to do my thing find my smile despite it, you know. So, and it's interesting, the craft that I'm in. That's one of the things my mom did. She actually showcased for Mitzi back in the day, and that's showcasing for the Comedy Store. And I remember her getting ready, and it was circa, it had to be 1982, because she was doing a bit about Miss America, about Vanessa Williams winning Miss America. She made a sash, and, and talking about, you know, how the world was like outdone, and just, you know. But that was something, and then later I went through that path and became a regular commentator. So it's just a lot of stuff that's coming full circle. She passed away 2 years ago, and it was just that journey of caregiving through that. So I'm in it. You know what I mean? I'm not on the other side. I'm coming through it, and I'm always the one who's encouraged other people, and it's such a blessing to be around the family in the village, the sisters, when they got their wisdom to share, and their timely word, that you're like, oh my God, I needed that. And to be careful, mindful around who you share your idea with.
Yes.
Because it's so precious. Everything that we do, what's interesting about the industry is that millions of dollars things are sold on an idea, on a concept, stuff that doesn't even exist yet. Millions of dollars are being transferred just because, that's a good idea. We're going to do this, this, and this. And imagine if that, when you shared it to the wrong person, it gets squashed and I'm not at that. That's not good. And so I just ask you to call on discernment as you set forth to birth your baby, your creative, whatever that project is that you're speaking about today, because you know what it's getting stirred up where you're like, I think it's time. And to be careful who you share that with, and share it with people who are going to go, you know what? Oh, you know who you need to call? Oh, you need to see this thing. Let me pull this thing up online, and they'll know exactly what you need to see in that time when you share it with the right people. You know what I mean? You're like, okay, girl. Okay, no, you need to see this now. They'll know. They'll know.
That's so true.
And I'm in it with you. I've got my friends that are bouncing off. There's someone who is a brilliant artist and I'm like, why haven't you put your show up again? Stuff that just brought the house down. And she's like, we had lunch and she was like, talking with someone and the way that they approached me, they were critical of it in a way that made me go, let me put that away for a little bit, because I'm not gonna, as opposed to, in any other, and we have to be careful how we speak to other people on their visions, and be mindful of how we use our language, our power of word, to breathe life into something or to squash it. And call out other people when you see them doing, the opposite too. Like you said, and call us out when we do it to ourselves. Tell our friends, now or you need to dust that off. You need to see that a different way. Don't hate, create.
Don't hate, create. Right.
But I just assure you that I'm in that zone too, and in this mode of the changing industry and all of the projects that I have in the queue and what to do with them. What I learned from, and I just want to speak about this again, my show, Oh Yes She Did, chronicles 400 years of Black female heroes. Whether it's Phyllis Wheatley, Billie Holiday, Madam C.J. Walker, Harriet Tubman, things like that. And I learned a lot in that. When I first started performing them, I realized I couldn't just perform them. I had to research the time in which they lived, because that colors why they did, why they said what they did, and what they were limited to in the context of that, and that speaks to you. Whether it was going through the details of the wardrobe and things like that, because you carry yourself differently if you're wearing a corset versus a dashiki. You know what I mean? All those things. And so, and I started putting it up, and then I started running into some kickback in different ways with different venues and stuff like that. And a cousin of mine said something very prophetic to me, because you can't think you're gonna wade in the waters of centuries of oppression without expecting to go through some stuff to earn it, And so this journey of my mother and caring for that, and I bring all that up to say, because I just recently performed excerpts for it at the Women's Theater Festival, and I was able to play that stuff in a way because I been through, you know what I mean? And draw from this well of strength of our ancestors that lift you up. They're like, you can do this. Don't forget who you are and what you've come from, you know, and to have faith in that and excitement in that, and to know you're in the best place possible to be able to do any of your visions. And for the youngins that are sitting here to know, you know what's interesting too, and this is not an aside, there's another meme that went across. There's this guy who in his lifetime has, he went to medical school, became a doctor, he also became an astronaut, and it was a Navy SEAL. So I think it's funny because it's kind of like when with those few children and your kids go, and then I want to be this, and I want to be that, and you need to shoot. No, you don't. No, you don't. And it's changed now. So you guys have the whole world to look at and approach it, and all of us do. All of us can have multiple different dynamics and passions that we've put on the shelf because we're like, well, there's an aspect of it that we could do, and that's what I just want to encourage, because I'm in the thick of that too. I'm swimming in that water finally, but I get a glimpse of it and the clarity to know that we can do that and that we can have that, and to just, as I said before, be mindful of who we share that with until we're strong enough where it doesn't matter. We can walk by that person who shot it down, or walk by a new person who might shut it down and go, you're entitled to your opinion.
Yeah.
Glad you have one. And keep it moving. And just, you know, and I'm excited for you. I think we all are.
Yeah.
That's so funny that you said that about be careful who you say things to. And there's a difference between those who will shoot your ideas down and those who support you.
Yeah.
My friend right here, who we've been friends for over 30 years, when I wrote my first book back in 2016, she was looking at Channel 5 News, and she said, you know, on the weekends, Lynette Romero has this thing called Link Up with Lynette, and she says, sister, you gotta email Lynette. You gotta email Lynette and tell her about your book. And I'm like, okay. And so I did. I emailed her, and then I just let it go. And 2 weeks later, I was on Channel 5 News. And I was getting emails and text messages, and people were like, oh my God, I saw you on Channel 5 News. I'm like, what? And she did a feature on my book.
That is
Nice.
Because she is the one that was
Right,
you're
your
lifting me
catalyst.
up. And she does it every chance she gets. So I've written my second book, and we're gonna have
That's important to have an accountability partner. These two have arranged that too. She's like, I'm expecting you at this because you aren't ready for this.
Yeah.
And it's holding you accountable, and that's something too. That's the person that you trust too, that you check in and go, so what's going on with this, and what are you doing with this? And, you know, to help you, you know, guide around, because our messages come in so many different ways. And this letter that she shared with Staci that has given her such strength that she's kept, because she's like, no, this is powerful, and I can always tap into this if I'm ever feeling low in my tank, you know. That's beautiful, and to that we encourage one another, that we've got so many gifts to give, and the excitement to help each other reach that.
Can I say something?
Yes.
If you don't have that, don't be discouraged.
Right.
Some of the biggest moves we have to make alone. And also remember, if you so happen to share your gift with someone who doesn't get it, remember God gave the vision to you, so they can't see it. You have to bring it forward so that then they can see it.
Yeah.
So sometimes when we explain things, people are like, I don't get it.
Like,
Don't
worry about
it.
You will.
Yeah.
That's a good word.
Hey, I
That's a
love
good
it.
word.
Amen.
Thank
Amen.
you. Thank you so
All
much.
right.
Me on my Facebook page it says, I can explain it to you, but I can't understand it.
That's
That's true. I'm glad. I'm sure all of you guys already know this, because I really feel the energy from all of you guys. So I know you guys already know this. A lot of times people say, "I'm only human," I'm only human, and that is not true. That is a self-defeating statement to say, because we're not only human. There's two parts of us. It's the human side of us and the spiritual side of us. The spiritual side is so much stronger, but it's stronger because of what? All the experiences that we've kept up to this point, right? It's so much stronger than the physical side of us. Who's running the show here? You know what I mean? The physical side of us is not forever. The spiritual side is forever, right? So you have to work in tandem. All of us have to work in tandem. And just like she said and you said, we're all still in it. We're all still, there's always that next hop. There's that next jump. We're in it. But if we say, oh, I'm only human, it's a cop-out. Because you know you're not only human, and you know that you have power inside of you. And you know you have the combination to the safe. And if you don't apply, then you don't get in. BreakMySafe.com, right? Okay, so yeah. So does anyone else have anything they want to say or contribute or anything? Anybody help any? There's a young girl in the room. One day she'll be big girls like us. You're in sixth grade. I'm sure there's a lot of experienced women in this room. Do any of you have a message inside of you right now that you would want to share with a young girl who would be able to say, 20 years from now, 25 years from now, this lady that I never met shared this message for me. Or I was at my auntie's show and there was so much going on there, and I didn't even know I was going to learn from that. Does anyone here, anybody on our panel, maybe you, Sandy, give her a quick little message, just something that when she grows up, she's not going to forget? Anybody?
And she looks at Sandy. She's like, anybody.
Oh, everybody's like, okay.
Okay, so I know we always see you at like Thanksgiving gatherings, you and your dad, you guys come out. And every time we see you, you're so like sweet, and you always get such great compliments. You're so kind, and just have such a great heart. So just don't ever let that go. Keep that going. That will take you far in life. It makes people feel good, and we need like people like you in life in our lives.
That is sweet. Stay sweet. Don't let me stop crying. Hold on to this last.
They're holding on great.
Oh, nice.
Yeah. So I'll share something that someone shared with me literally probably 28 years ago, and I never forgot it. And so we were in a setting like this, and he was speaking, and he said, always do your best work, because 10 years will go by like this.
That was a good one.
And that kept me motivated and focused and, on the right track. So I never forgot it. But it was so true, because 10 years, 20 years went by quick.
Yes.
Right.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
You have a photo. I'm sorry, go ahead. Oh, don't forget what you're gonna say. Are you the type of person that will forget?
No.
Okay.
I know.
You have an Instagram, like you do photography, right? You photographer?
Oh,
Yes.
wow.
What? Which makes her an artist.
That's right.
Right? Which means that she's giving her gift. Which means that she naturally already knows that she doesn't have to wait to be great. Because she's already doing it. Right? And because you have encouragement, right? Around you. So that's another thing that you have to remember. You already got it.
Absolutely.
Like, as a young girl, there are grown people who can learn from you. Because there's probably a grown woman right now, 35, 40, 50, who said, I always wanted to be a photographer. Or I want to be an artist. Or I always wanted to write. You don't have to wait to be great. So I want to share. Anyone else want to say anything? Want to share?
I'm actually looking
Oh,
for photographers. So
I know, that's
we
right.
can talk maybe after this.
Oh, that's awesome. Back now at myself, how old are you? 11. At 11, I would say know that you only need like maybe 3 or 4 really good friends. And find that core group and then cultivate that. In order to have friends, you have to be a friend.
And if anybody treats you indifferent or make you feel uncomfortable, then they're not your true friends, so you gotta let it go. Because a friend will not treat another friend poorly. They're only gonna try to bring positivity, protect you, and lift you up. Okay.
Absolutely. Thank you so much. Does anybody else have anything else that they want to say? Anything you want to get out? Anything that you're like, I was going to say it, but never said it now.
I just want to say congratulations to every single one of you guys. It takes courage to step outside of
Comfort.
yes, your comfort zone, right? And so to be able to step up and share, and Staci and I work together. She's been writing a book for. I'm like, when you write that book?
Listen,
That intervention
not my intervention. No, you're right.
No, but what I'm saying is, this is the beginning of your step, right?
Right,
And I
absolutely.
saw on Facebook one day, just recently, somebody posted, a guy was an Uber driver, and everyone that got in his,
Oh, yeah,
you saw that, right? He asked them, you know, what do you want to tell me, or something like that, and what would you like to share? And he got all these different messages.
And wrote a book
Wow.
about it.
Exactly.
Wow.
He said, you know, call your mom today. Treat somebody else like you want to be treated. Different things, and he wrote a book. And now
So
it's
everybody
grown.
else is
So,
sharing.
you know, we have to be willing to take that first step, that
Absolutely.
courage. And there's a lot of things I always think about in my life. You know, oh, I want to do this, I want to do that. Well, you know what? I think I'm going to call the city of Inglewood so I can start my business. I don't know what it is.
Good for you. Well, you know, your accountability partner. Accountability partner.
Yes, that is so
She
true.
calls me out all the time.
Right. No, absolutely.
Yes,
Absolutely.
I love it. I love
Stacy
it.
pointed at you, I think.
Oh, no, my accountability. Yes.
Is this a spiritual advisor that you mentioned sometimes?
No, but she is one as well.
She's amazing.
But yeah, no, absolutely.
Yeah.
And it was funny. What was it? It was last April. She came. She stopped by. She's like, "I'm gonna send you or something or do something." And she's like, "What's your work address?" And I was like, "What is she gonna send me?" I'm like, "Here it is." An hour later, she peeps around the corner. I'm like, "Oh my god!" And she was like, "This is not for you. You're not supposed to be here." And it was just like, it was confirmation, because I was like, the wheels were turning, but I was still hesitating, like that double dutch. I was like, wait a minute. But no, and I appreciate the accountability and calling me out.
Yes.
You know what I remember about that day that you had on cowgirl outfit?
Yes.
It was time to ride out.
You remember that day? Right. And it was time to go. It was time to go. But my advice to the beautiful young lady in the back, in God's presence, you'll find your purpose. It's almost like a little cheat sheet or a life hack. It's so amazing when you're in the presence of God, either meditating, walking, doing something, the whispers, trust that. Because it's like that intuition, and it's like, I was telling my daughter, I was like, it's almost like my intuition is an older me. And setting me up for what's next and what I should be doing. Because everything that I have answered according to what she's whispered to me has come to pass in such a beautiful way. So when I say in God's presence, you'll get some answers, as well as you have to stay plugged into Him.
Yes.
You have to stay connected, because that's your power source.
Right.
I drive an electric car, and I think it's going to take me everywhere without me plugging it in. So once I had to call the tow truck to come get me, because I had went too far and didn't have enough miles. But that just lets me know, no matter how amazing that car is, if you don't plug it into the source, you're not going to go. You're not going to go. So needless to say, the secret hack, the life hack is in the presence of God. You'll find your purpose.
Absolutely. Yes. On that note, we are going to wrap things up. I want to thank all of you guys so I want to mess up my makeup. But thank you guys for coming, and not just coming, but for participating and engaging fully with us. And it matters. We talked about language, and we talked about it being food for the spirit. And I know we ate really good, but the language actually feels really good. I feel very filled up. I feel very satisfied, very happy. what I would love for you guys to do, I mean, we have these beautiful backdrops, and we have these really great photographers here. If you can please, engage with our guests and take some photos and put them on your page. And before you leave, I'm gonna stand by the door. I'm not gonna let you leave unless I know you have done. Get the social medias, right? Get the connections, all that kind of stuff, and take some pictures and what do we call it in social media? Share it or what? Hashtag. All that tag.
What is your hashtag?
Oh, I'm DawnChannell.
No, for your event.
Life Notes by DawnChannell. Life Notes by DawnChannell. That's her hashtag.
Thank you, accountability.
Thank you.
And make sure you stop by the two beautiful vendor tables. One is Kynedis Koil oil, and then we have another one. All the jewelry is $5. Everybody just grab something. $5.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yes.
And then tune in on Wednesday nights for DawnChannell and Akiana.
Oh,
Let's
yes.
back in the podcast.
Let's
Follow us on social media. And I think that's all.
And to piggyback off of that, I know we said just really quick, maybe like 30 seconds. There's so many different layers to who we are. And another thing that got in my way was, because I'm a comedian, but I'm also a motivational speaker, I prefer to say inspirational leader, and it's for different reasons, but all the same, like empowerment person. Well, they're not gonna take me seriously as a speaker because I'm funny, right? Or they're not gonna take me seriously because I'm funny. You know what I'm saying? So I got in my way and I was like, wait a minute. Go back to the combinations. I can be funny. I can be inspiring. I can be all of these things. And all of that is part of that combination to unlock my save. So I just wanted to share that because it's important that we know that, and that we address it, that we accept it, right? That we share it. So, yeah, thank you guys so much. Take plenty of photos. Like I said, I'm going to be right there. Make sure you guys are on our Instagram. Oh, wait a minute. Hold up. Wait. Hold on, guys. I didn't get this for nothing.